And welcome back, everybody, to our season debut of I'll Hang Up and Listen, your best spot for all of your post-game reactions, brought to you by, of course, our newest partners built in Buffalo and our favorite sponsors, Fatty Beer Company, Western York's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from at all locations, and one of the best places to go for the vibes, live music, trivia, entertainment. They have everything, whether it's going with it for a Sabres game, happy hour, Bills game. Make sure you go check out Fatty Beer Company. Again, one of the best spots in Western New York to go have a beer. And, of course, Buffalo Logo Apparel. For all your Buffalo sports apparel needs, whether it's your shirts, your hats, your hoodies, Bills, Sabres, whatever they care, Buffalo sports jeans you want, they have it. So make sure you go check them out at Buffalo Co. on Instagram and Twitter, at Fatty Beer on Instagram and Twitter. I am Duane, your host, riding solo tonight. Obviously, kind of a weird start time, 1 p.m. over in Prague to open the season against New Jersey Devils. And my co-host who lives on the West Coast, it is currently only 2:40 there, and he's hard at work. So a little bit later start than we're used to for the post game here, but we wanted to make sure after the season opener we got right at it, right? We don't want to miss a thing, especially with the way that game went today. I'm gonna just dive right in. Very reminiscent of last season, I think most of you would agree. Seen as the slow starts, right? That's I think the biggest thing. You saw it on Sabres Twitter. You heard about it on the post game. Lindy was asked about it. What happened? Lindy kind of alluded to maybe nerves, but I don't buy into that. Nerves? What nerves? You guys have been there for over a week. You got there before New Jersey. You played a game. You played against the DEL Red Bull team where you lit them up. You've had this time to practice together, to hang out together. Just, I mean, it's one game out of 82. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves, right? Because at the end of the day, you have 81 more games to play. You get right back into it tomorrow at 10 a.m. our time, Eastern time. I'm not sure what time that is there, but right back at it. So you don't really have time to think about this, to dwell on it. But at the end of the day, nerves to me aren't an excuse. If you guys are dealing with nerves, this core of this team has been together for a long time. They've been through multiple season openers together and much higher, in my opinion, high pressure situations, especially after the year where you came off of missing the playoffs only by 1 point. Had you, I feel like the following season, was more of a pressure thing for you because, you missed the playoffs by 1 point, regardless of where you're playing to start the season. To me, that was a bigger deal. Yes, you have Lindy behind the bench now, but what are we doing here? Like nerves? No, it's not nerves. Maybe it's the players just not ready to play. That's just, now we have a new coach. And again, you see it, not ready to play. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves though, because again, game number 1. If we're still talking about this in November, then it's a problem. But game number 1. So I'm willing to knowing who the coach is, how well we know him, that Lindy Ruff is a guy who's not going to stand for that. He's going to make you pay for, slow starts, laziness, lack of preparation. You're going to pay for it if you're, on a Lindy Ruff hockey team. So my opinion is, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Let's not put the wagon before the horse, or whatever that saying is. Just take a step back, breathe. It's the first game of the season. New coach, new system. A lot of new players. Whole bottom 6 looks a lot different, right? So I know there's a lot of criticism on the bottom 6, and and again, rightfully so. But I think it's top 6 that really failed you today, right? You're the players you needed to be to stand out and be your best players tonight. We're not your best players. Duane did not have a good game. I'll just put it out there. UPL 19 saves on 22 shots. That third goal, caught out of position, very reminiscent of the UPL we've seen in years past. Again, I'm not knocking on UPL, but he didn't have his best game night either. It's just the way it is. I don't know. Like, as you all know, people who follow me on social media, who've listened to this show in the offseason know that I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I was so optimistic and guaranteeing playoffs just because of Lindy Ruff. I think Lindy is the biggest addition to this team, 100%, over any player you've gone out and signed in the offseason or traded for. Like, Lindy Ruff was your biggest addition because he's going to bring accountability. He's going to bring structure. He's going to bring experience. The last time this team made the playoffs was under Lindy Ruff. Am I right or am I wrong? They were. It's been 11 years since Lindy Ruff was let go by the team. So, again, for me, that guy is the difference maker right now. But he can't score goals. He puts these guys in position to succeed, puts in the best possible positions to win. But at the end of the day, it's on the players. And again, we see a game. Again, it's just one game. I want to keep coming back to it's one game where they're not ready to play at puck drop. They looked horrible in that first period. They could not. Zone entries were non-existent. The passing was horrendous. They could not have any. They were so passive in the neutral zone. They were playing on their. It was almost they were afraid to make a play. They were hesitant. So that being said, that's on the players, man. In our experiences with Lindy Ruff in the past, Lindy Ruff always has these guys ready to play, and it's the players. It's the players. And somebody has to stand up in that room. I hope after today's game or at the hotel or wherever it is and be like, hey, guys, that's fucking inexcusable. That is inexcusable. We do not sit here and start. That team is old. Like the old team from last year and the year before, that's done with. That's over with. That is inexcusable. No more. You can't have that crap anymore. Especially to open the season. Like, you guys have been there. You guys have been there practicing together, playing. You've had your tune-up games. And here's the thing. In preseason, a lot of these teams are playing like mixed rosters with guys you would fully expect to go back to junior or Rochester or in the HL. That's not been the case the past week in Europe. These guys have all been together. Your final roster is essentially what's been there since they got there. You know, I know with Kubal, obviously, possibly, being out, he didn't finish the game. Maybe we see Yuri Kulik tomorrow. I think we should. I think that's a Lindy call. Honestly, even without the injury, you might see Kulik tomorrow because that power play, let's talk about that power play, absolutely atrocious. Starting off, it was absolutely atrocious. As it went out more into the game and second power play, third power, final power play, pucks to the net, bodies to the net, things were starting to gel. They were starting to get good looks. Tage Thompson missed like 4 wide open chances. Cousins had a couple of good opportunities. Tuck did too. I mean, Owen Power opening the scoring. But I want to point that out too, that Owen Power goal. All 5 guys were essentially below the face-off dots. All of them. And that I said this last Tuesday when we talked about Owen Power. I expect to start seeing shades of the Owen Power that played at Michigan, the guy who wasn't afraid to go to the net. Because that was a big part of their how dangerous they were offensively, is Owen Power not being afraid, A, to push the puck up the ice, and A, join the play. Get in there. Take chances. And that's exactly what happened. JJ Paterka doing the dirty work below the goal line, kicks it out as he's falling, kicks it out to Owen Power, who cradles the puck, takes a look, and buries it. Like, that is what the Owen Power I want to see. And then, again, the other side of the coin too, in terms of I want to see him be more have more jam and just play to his size defensively. So I'm going to before I hit the next comments here, I'm going to go to the peanut gallery. A lot of you already in here. We got Gargalon. Bring it, damn it. For 4 on the power play. They can't be serious. They can't be serious. They are serious. I'll reserve my judgment until they get back to North America, but why the hell is the team with NHL longest playoff drought playing games in Europe instead of having a normal training camp? Honestly, it's probably because they have, I don't know, Czech players in their team. Yuri Kulich. I'm sure he's a popular player. Obviously, so does obviously the Devils do too. We also had German players. That was probably part of the decision making. I understand other teams do too, but I'm not too sure. Maybe it's kind of like when the Bills used to get sent to London to play in those games in the preseason because the team was bad. Do we want to send one of our good teams there? Maybe that is part of it. I don't know. I don't know who makes those decisions. But I'm sure a little bit of everything, all of that played into it. I think by nerves, he meant they panicked with the puck when the Devils were on them. Yeah, I mean, you're probably right, but I don't know. I nervousness, you've had a lot of time playing together over there. You got there before the Devils. You should have been more prepared. You should have. 12th man mafia in the house. Love it, Joey Hatch. Love it. Go Buffalo Bills. Unfortunately, we're talking about the Sabres, but I agree. Let's go Bills. I think no, I already read that one. Let's go Buffalo Sabres. Attaboy, Joey. Good point, Josh. Agreed. Wasn't Lindy Ruff the coach with the New Jersey Devils before he came to Buffalo? Yes, he was. They fired him before the end of the season, and then Buffalo snatched him up like a month later, I believe it was. Except a normal training camp would have had them rolling out a lot of the prospects. I thought they'd get a jump start at the real lineup. I guess not. Power play, the same old with what the hell, Seth. Again, it's one game, except for Germany. UPL hasn't looked good. Sabres were dominated from the start. It was embarrassing the way they were outworked. Yeah, they were outworked. They lost a lot of small battles. The little details of the game that they weren't paying attention to, I guess, for lack of a better way of saying it. I know it's one game, but I can't have another year with them starting to play good when it doesn't matter. Again, first game out of 82. They can come back tomorrow and absolutely boat race the Devils. They can win 5-0 tomorrow. We'll see. Tage was awful, trying to dip his dipsy doodle crap at center ice. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't until what moment was it that Tage really finally started to kind of look a little bit better? It was a turnover that led to a chance down at the other end, but after that he kind of tightened things up. But still, you need your best guys to be your best guys at all times. OP shot with his head down before he scored and missed a wide open net. With his head down before he scored. Yep. Again, yeah, another opportunity to get on the board. Too many shots, missed the net. And they had, and Markstrom, take no credit away from Jacob Markstrom. His debut with the Devils was fantastic. Made that amazing save on Kubel. Like, again, 2-0 that time, but that could have been, honestly, I think it was 2-0 that time. That could have been a game-changing moment there. Had Kubel been able to bear down a little bit more and get that puck to the back of the net, we could be talking about a Sabres win right now. Momentum could have shifted. Who knows? But all I know is you have to just take a step back and just realize, yes, it is one game, and there's 81 more. There's 81 more games. We get the same team back again tomorrow. Maybe they come back with Markstrom. I mean, I would not be surprised if Keith did. He is, his goalie did play phenomenally. And granted, the Buffalo had a lot of shots, but the reality of it is, like, we missed a lot of nets tonight. I mean, if he does, I'm not surprised. If he doesn't, I'm not surprised. But I also wouldn't be surprised if we saw Devin Levi tomorrow. I tweeted out, is he going to be the starting goalie tomorrow? I think so. I mean, that would have been Lindy Ruff's plan from the get-go. That's normally his history with back-to-backs. But, I mean, it's not like UPL put himself in a position today to secure a second start in a row. He could have been better, for sure, especially, again, on that third goal. Caught out of position, looked like the UPL of old. everybody needed to be better today. And looking forward to tomorrow, I genuinely hope we see Yuri Kulik in the lineup. Um, you know, let him make his season debut. He had a good training camp. He had a good preseason. Maybe that's a spark. Again, I've said it for a while. This is a two-line team right now. If you think you're gonna get a ton of scoring out of your bottom six, you're gonna be disappointed. I think Kulik could add some scoring ability to your third line, if that is where you slot him in. I don't think there's anything about the top six today that even knowing Lindy's willingness to mix lines up, I would not be surprised the top six even looked a little different tomorrow, just a different look, because it just did not work at all today. So I would not be surprised if maybe the top six looked a little different, and maybe we do see Yuri Kulik in the lineup tomorrow. I hope we do, because for that power play, a power play looked atrocious. It also could be Krebs that could be in the lineup tomorrow. He sat out tonight, but I don't know. I think Krebs kind of matches Lindy's style a little bit more. I mean, they held out for him all off season for whatever reason. I don't know, but I'm on the side of put a guy in there that's going to score on the power play. And that, if you're asking me who that is, that's Yuri Kulik. Because the power play could have been the difference today. You go 1 for 2 on the power play. It could have changed the game entirely. You know what I mean? Momentum shifts. Who knows? Again, that's just my opinion. We can't run into these same issues this season with the power play as we had last year. I fully expect penalty kill wise this team to be locked down. Fully expecting to lock things down. But at the end of the day, power play, you just need to be better. You have to be. You can't allow the lack of attention to detail. And here's the thing too. I said in a group chat, there are positive things to take out this game. I mentioned earlier, they were getting pucks and bodies in the net consistently. How often do we remember that from last season? Like, you were lucky if you had one guy screening their goalie, if at all. How often were we tearing the hair out of our heads because their goalies were getting full looks at shots from the point because nobody wanted to stand in front of them? That wasn't the case today. Bodies were getting into the net. Markstrom had a great game. I'll give credit where credit is due. He definitely was the difference maker today for the New Jersey Devils. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to cash in on your opportunities, and they weren't able to. Slow starts on the power play, slow start to the game. And their best players just need to be their best players. You need Tage Thompson to be on the score sheet. You need guys like Alex Tuch to be on the score sheet. JJ Paterka, who had a nice assist, working hard. I thought JJ was probably their best forward today. I'll be quite honest. I genuinely do. He was skating hard up and down the ice the whole game. And I think you're going to get that from him almost every game. Got a comment here from Gar. Play Kulik for Greenway. I don't disagree with that. I mean, also definitely play Levi. Also agree. I know it's just one game under Lindy. I did not expect him to come out looking like they did. This is kind of scary. Again, Gar, it's one game, but one game. If we're talking about this at the end of October, early November, then we could be scared. What was the face-off win percentage? Seems like we lost most of them. It did seem like we probably did lose more face-offs than we won for sure, but I don't know the exact number. But at the end of the day, I think leading into this and even Lindy said in an interview, he goes, face-offs have been an emphasis too, winning face-offs, because obviously that leads directly to possession. He thought there's been massive improvements with face-offs and the ability to win them back and get possession. Obviously not the case today, but that's not something I'm going to worry too much about. I remember in the interview he mentioned it's not just one guy's responsibility to win a face-off. You have winger on each side of you who can assist in winning that face-off and getting the puck back into the point or gaining possession. And I agree. That's things that we didn't see last season. I think we will see. So in terms of face-off percentage and little things like details like that, I'm not too worried about it because I think it has been a focus for Lindy Ruff and Seth Appert. So I know, we'll see. Again, we'll talk in November if all these little details are still, or lack of focus on these details are still a problem. Then we can start to get scared. But again, they're right back at it tomorrow. Let's not get too frustrated and angry and overzealous quite yet. A lot of hockey left to be played, and then we're getting right back into it in less than 24 hours. So 10 o'clock a.m. start. Obviously, we'll be here with the post game as well right after that. My guess is Kulik is in the lineup. It's just a guess, not a prediction. Could be Krebs. But I think they should throw Kulik out there. 0 for 4 in the power play, just strictly because of that, and see if you can add some life to this lineup and give it a spark. And then I think you see Devin Levi in that for sure. So I can't wait to see him in those pads. That new setup of his as a goalie, that new setup of his is absolutely gorgeous. Can't wait to see him sporting those in the blue and gold tomorrow. But my final thoughts are, as I started off, let's not get too worried. It's one game. It's going to be okay. If this is happening in a month, then we can get worried. But for right now, 81 more games, 10 o'clock face-off tomorrow. Let's get right back after it. No time to dwell on this. No time to hang your heads. And I think a Lindy Ruff coach team, especially a Sabres Lindy Ruff team, he's not going to let them hang them heads. I would hope that after that game, not so much like lighting into them, but letting these guys know, hey, let's knock this shit off. We're right back into it tomorrow. We know what we need to do. We know what we did wrong. We know the adjustments we need to make. And luckily, we are playing the exact same team tomorrow. All right, guys, just remember this is brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room, with over 300 beers to choose from at all their Western New York locations. Make sure you go check them out at Fatty Beer on Instagram and Twitter, also on Facebook, and of course, Buffalo Logo Apparel. They have some of the best options when it comes to your Sabres and your Bills apparel needs. Make sure you go check them out at Buffalo Logo Co. on Instagram and Twitter, buffalogo.com. I am Duane for Two Goalies, One Mic. This has been the season debut of I'll Hang Up and Listen. Thank you for all who chimed in. I know we were a little bit late today, but unfortunately, it was a work day for me, so I tried to get home as quickly as I possibly could. And thank you, Garth, for the congrats on the built-in Buffalo connection for you and Hurls. Looking forward to talk to you both tomorrow. I'm looking forward to talk to you, Garth, and everybody else who's always been loyal to us and stuck with us. Thank you to you all. We'll talk to you tomorrow. And as always, go Sabres.